The Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Department says it's interviewing a person of interest in her disappearance, but didn't say how they were linked to her. They did say the person was in custody on unrelated charges. Despite concerns about a recession, a lot of people will be looking for a new job. A survey by Robert Half Staffing shows job optimism is up, and 46% of U.S. workers are looking or plan to look in the new year. So who is looking?
Folks 18 to 25 years old make up 60% of those survey results. Interestingly enough, human resource professionals make up 58% of our survey results. And working parents coming in at 53, and employees who have been with their company for a time period of about 2 to 4 years comes in at 55.
Robert Half recruiting manager Shannon Edliger says many of those who are looking are currently employed and may feel they have more leverage in the current job market. It's a wild ride for a West Michigan woman who was on her way to the hospital to have her fourth baby, but the baby couldn't wait. Danielle and Ryan Gill were headed to Corewell Health Butterworth Hospital in Grand Rapids Saturday night in a snowstorm when Danielle told the pull over, and she delivered the baby in the car, and her husband grabbed a towel in the backseat to wrap up the baby boy, who is healthy. They went to the hospital where staff had everything ready for the mother and the child. WSGW News Time 9:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Cloudy for today. Highs top out near 34 degrees. Wind southwesterly 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Lows drop to 20. Winds west 5 to 10. Wednesday to the upper 20s. Wednesday night, cloudy. Temperatures hold steady in the 20s. Winds east southeast around 5 miles per hour. Thursday remains cloudy, chance for snow developing, then becoming mixed with rain by afternoon, turning to all rain by late in the afternoon. Highs reach 39, then rain likely Thursday night. I'm meteorologist Phil Jensko with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Right now it's 24.
Now, local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you and welcome. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW from my Saginaw Spirit home studio. Our program brought to you by Westside Decorating Center in Saginaw. Stop in at 4789 State Street to see their newly expanded showroom with everything needed in home decorating. And we'll talk more about that later. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we're going to have open phones right up through 11:30 this morning. Nothing on focus today, so we'll continue our open phones. But for the first part, better part of this hour, we're going to talk about something called tax clawbacks. And these tax clawbacks that are being sought by power companies, namely Consumer Energy in this particular case, and what it might do to school districts. And to help us understand it this morning, we say good morning to State Representative Phil Green. Good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
We're doing well. Thanks for being with us this morning. I think before we get into some of the real nitty-gritty here, we need a definition of a tax clawback. What is it?
A clawback is where an organization or an individual has, in their opinion, overpaid their taxes, and then they're going to retroactively ask for a refund. So they're going to claw it back.
And so this pertains, in this particular case, to the power companies. You know, we all hear about the new form of energy, windmills, solar, and all of that. And this, in particular, has to do with windmills. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. And Art, your listening range entails almost all of the windmills in the state of Michigan. Almost, not all of them.
Yeah, lucky us. So Consumers comes along. Let's go back to the beginning when these were first built. Consumers entered into agreements with a whole bunch of entities, including school districts, right?
school districts, local units of government, basically anybody that has a taxing power. So even with that, many communities have a millage for a senior millage, or they have a millage for Veterans Affairs, wherever there is a taxing authority. And it was a lot of not just consumers, DTE also, as well as some of the the owners of the wind parks.
And if I understand this right, the tax tribunal in Michigan set the depreciation rates for the windmills at the time these agreements were all written. Is that correct?
So we're going to go back probably close to 15 years under then Governor Granholm, and there was a large push for renewable energy, and so there were a bunch of subsidies put in to fund these wind parks and solar parks. So then the local communities were brought in, and they said, look, if you can put in these windmills for us, here is the benefit to the community. So you'll have extra money for roads, you'll have extra money for ambulance, the schools will have extra money. And so in some respects, reluctantly, the local communities bought into the putting in the windmills, the wind farms. It went for about 2-3 years. There was a set depreciation schedule. Went for about 2 or 3 years. Then the tax tribunal changed the depreciation schedule. So all of the benefits that the companies have said, here's what you're going to get for it, changed almost overnight, because now their taxing power is less. So there's one organization, one area, Akron Fairgrove School District, actually bonded based upon the tax schedule. They bonded to do upgrades to the area and the school. Then all of a sudden, overnight, they found out they didn't have the taxing power that they had bonded based on. And so that put that whole community into a pinch. And now, like I said, 3 years following the original agreements, the tax tribunal changes the fee structure, and now these organizations have to figure out what to do with the previous money that they had collected.
I guess what brought about the change in depreciation?
The tax tribunal.
Yeah, but yeah, I got that part, but what motivated them to do it? Who motivated?
So obviously, the companies that own the windmills, that own the solar parks, went before the tax tribunal and said, look, this depreciation schedule we currently have is not fair, and we need to hasten the schedule to make them depreciate faster. Thus, our overhead, our taxes will go down quicker, and we'll be able to become soluble in energy production quicker. So it was an appeal by the energy companies asking them to cut the tax or increase the depreciation schedule, which would cut their taxes.
I have to ask what seems to me to be the obvious question. Did the tax tribunal not take into account the financial damage that would be done to these taxing authorities?
Well, obviously that was probably 15 years ago, 12 years ago that this happened. And what the tax tribunal knew and understood at that time, whether it was a piece of paper that came across their desk and they said, oh, yeah, look, yeah, I agree with this and passed it on, or whether they did a full dive into it, I'm not sure. It was a time ago.
And if it was that long ago, 12 years thereabouts, why is this not coming to the forefront now?
Well, so there's a couple of organizations. Obviously, each individual community could fight for their own, right? And then there's an organization up here in the thumb called MREC. And in government, we have acronyms for everything. I don't really know what the acronym stands for, but it's basically Gratiot, Montcalm, Huron, Tuscola, Sanilac counties that have the wind energy. So whether it's the townships or the school districts or whatever the case is, they all came together and formed MREC. And at that point in time, they sued the DTE and consumers. And at this point, it's just sort of languished as there's been negotiations. Over on the west side of the state, consumers came to an agreement with Lake Winds, I believe it was Lake Winds 2 Park, as to the depreciation schedule and how to affect the community. And then here about a year ago or less, maybe 6 months ago, MREC came to an agreement with DTE on the depreciation schedule. And so for MREC, the last organization that they needed to negotiate with was consumers. And so they were in negotiation, the lawyers negotiating and doing what lawyers do, charging a lot of money to negotiate. And on a statement was made. You understand that this is going to bankrupt one of our school districts. And the response was, well, sometimes that happens. So all of a sudden,
consumers' response.
Yes.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden, it went from a back burner item to, look, we have school districts and we have local communities that if this is the stance we're going to take, that are really, if something goes bankrupt like a school district, it ends up in state receivership and with an emergency manager. And I don't think anybody wants our schools that have been doing a very good job of being financially, fiscally responsible to, because of a negotiation, end up bankrupt.
Where do these stand right now?
Right now, the entities are meeting, the attorneys for the entities are meeting, and we're trying to negotiate through that. I am working what I can. Obviously, it's in the court system. And so legislators, once something hits the court system, the second branch of the government, the legislative branch, doesn't really have a role anymore. But I'm doing my best to get the two entities to speak directly instead of through their attorneys.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm going to take a break. We're talking to Representative Phil Green, and we're talking about the tax clawbacks sought by consumers, which will have some pretty stark effects on some taxing authorities, particularly out in the thumb. And we will be back with more after these notes on the Art Lewis Show.
Bonnie Sewing Center is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get the very best prices on everything. Janome, Baby Lock, Husqvarna Viking, and Bernina. This includes top-of-the-line embroidery machines, sergers, long arms, and more. With every purchase, Bonnie Sewing Center is committed to offering you our award-winning customer service that includes unlimited free one-on-one lessons. Come sit and sew with us all day in our expanded classroom. We have staff on hand to help you. Bonnie Sewing Center on Wilder Road in Bay City, your one-stop sewing shop for over 38 years.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we all need income. And if you don't have an income plan,
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own complimentary financial review by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
Updated COVID vaccines are here, just in time for the season that brings us all closer. Just in time for added protection against the original COVID virus and Omicron. Just in time for crowded stores and great big family dinners. Updated COVID protection is here. And if September, it's time to give yourself the gift of updated protection. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Testosterone levels are at an all-time low. Individual T levels decline 1% every year. Chalk, CHOQ, is the new champion of natural testosterone boosters. Chalk's main ingredient is clinically studied to naturally boost testosterone 20% in 90 days. Supercharge your masculinity and boost your daily energy with Chalk's Male Vitality Stack. For a limited time, our listeners will get 30% off at CHOQ.com with promo code USA. .com code USA.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report. There are more signs of the housing market slowdown. Building permits for new construction declined 11.2% in November. Housing starts, in other words, groundbreakings for new construction, declined 0.5% as higher interest rates cut into demand for homes. Bank rates, 30-year fixed rate this week declined to 6.61%. General Mills is raising its forecast for next year, though it continues to expect inflation, supply chain disruptions, and an economic impact on its business. General Mills makes Cheerios, Pillsbury, and many other brands. Its recent quarter was stronger than forecast. The Bank of Japan is allowing its benchmark interest rate to rise. Japan was previously committed to not raising rates. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
We conquer cancer. For the mom-to-be who is out of treatment options. For the doctor who has a brilliant idea but needs research funding. For the people who faced cancer head-on and climbed incredible heights while they were with us. For the children at the end of chemo. We conquer cancer for all who have been touched by it. Conquer Cancer accelerates breakthroughs in research and care for every cancer, every patient, everywhere. Join us at conquer.org.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
At Total Wine & More, save big on what you love this December with hundreds of deals. Get up to 35% off over 200, including Cabernet, sparkling wine, single barrel bourbon, and so much more. These savings are huge, and even better, they're on top of prices that are already the lowest in town. Deals this good don't last long, so visit Total Wine & More to find yours. Love what you find at the lowest price, only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
On Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, WSGW will have special Christmas programming for you. From 9 to 1 p.m., Gil Gross is your host for a CBS Christmas show. From 1 to 3 p.m., it's the Valley Lutheran Christmas, presented by Joe Shea. Representatives of the Great Lakes Group of Thrivent Financial. Then, starting at 3 p.m. Christmas Eve and all Christmas Day, it's Mannheim Steamrollers and American Christmas, presented by Frankenmuth Credit Union. Plus, overnight Christmas Eve into Christmas morning, George Norrie will be live hosting his Coast to Coast show. You can also stay updated with CBS News and WSGW weather starting each hour. Listen on 100.5 and 790 WSGW. Listen with Siri and Alexa. Listen online, WSGW.com. Celebrating Christmas. You and WSGW.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show for this Tuesday morning, talking to State Representative Phil Green about some tax clawbacks that consumers is trying to get in the thumb in particular. Representative Green, I have to ask, and I don't speak for consumers, and I only speak for myself. But if I'm a landowner and consumers were to come to me and say, hey, we want to stick a windmill right in the middle of your property, and here's what you're going to get for it. My first question to consumers would be, how can I trust you?
Well, that is the very crux of where we're sitting right now, because obviously the Governor Whitmer wants to push forward with a net zero agenda, and which would be increasing windmills and solar farms across the state. And this right here is a major pinch point, because if the townships and if the landowners no longer want to deal with the company that is doing the work, we're going to end up, or her agenda is going to end up in a world of hurt, because quickly the land is not for lease anymore, because they can't trust the piece of paper that was signed.
The Michigan Tax Tribunal, is that where these suits are held right now?
It is before the tax tribunal, yes.
Is that that's a court then? Or
that is, I am not 100% sure on that. I believe it is a special court for these taxation issues. Those that sit on the tribunal are appointed by the governor to handle these types of matters.
Yeah, is there any word from consumers as to why they've taken a different position than these other companies that have settled?
Well, obviously, each entity is looking at their own bottom line and what is best for their quasi-private company. It is a regulated monopoly. So I have not had a good conversation, good reason as to why they're saying this is what we want out of it. It's part of a negotiation, and they are looking at the future as well as the present.
Yeah, everything I read indicated that they claim that they're doing this because they have a responsibility to their consumers and keeping the rates down, and they say it will not impact shareholders, as money wouldn't go back to shareholders. They're a how many billion-dollar company?
Well, because you asked the question, I believe last year they had an $8 billion profit. $8 billion profit.
And this
I
believe is 8.5 million, as I understand, total.
Yeah, it's less than 10 million. So what they have described to me is that if they write this off, then somebody has to cover it. So they would be going before the Public Service Commission and asking for a rate increase. And it just sort of, I understand the fiduciary responsibility they have to their rates, to their consumers. However, I also understand that the taxpayers have already subsidized the windmills through our tax dollars. We're already paying some of the highest rates in our region. And so as we are moving to this green renewable energy, it seems our prices are going through the roof and our reliability is dropping through the basement.
Yeah. You mentioned fiduciary responsibility, and I understand that. But for a company making billions and billions of dollars off the consumers, off the customer dole, so to speak, you would think that the Public Service Commission would say, well, wait a minute. You made billions and billions of dollars here. You don't need a rate increase to cover $8.5 million.
Well, you made an interesting statement. You said you would think. And the problem is we're in government right now, and many times what we would think is not reality of how things operate.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. Just out of curiosity, with the changeover in control of the legislature, will that have any impact on this?
Impact on this specific topic, I'm not 100% sure if it would on these tax clawbacks. Obviously, moving forward, the bigger topic of green energy and of the renewables, that is going to be a renewed focus. And this is where we get into that sticky situation that if you're not treating your lease owners correctly, if you're not treating your local units of government correctly, then they're not going to want to deal with you. And so I 100% believe that the topic of state zoning is going to come back up, where I believe it was, I want to say 2008, 2007, somewhere in that era, there was a big battle fought for the renewable energy because local communities were making their zoning laws such that the windmills couldn't come in.
Right.
And there was a large group that wanted to say, look, this is a public utility. Therefore, the state should make all the decisions based upon zoning, and whether or not you care, the local communities would have no say in it. So I'm hearing rumblings that fight is going to be coming back up because, quite frankly, we have not dealt correctly with the rural communities that still desire to do things based on a handshake. And now we're finding out that here's a 64-page contract, and in the footnote of page 32, there's this little clause that allows us to. That type of chicanery does not go over well in rural communities, and it's a huge battle here. 4 years ago, Juniata Township in Tuscola County completely recalled their whole board because they changed their laws to allow, or their ordinances to allow windmills. It is a huge battle fought with real people that have feelings and that have trust issues because they've gotten the short end of the stick consistently. And so my take is we need to settle this. It needs to be equitable for both the landowners, the local units of government, as well as the company. And we need to, again, rebuild trust inside our communities.
And I know there's a big push from consumers to find land to put solar farms, for example. I imagine this is going to carry over into that.
Well, yes, 100%. It already has. And 100%. Now understand that the majority of the use of our electricity is in the metropolitan areas.
Right.
So they want to generate the electricity in the rural areas. And if the rural areas are saying, no, this is not how we do business, what benefit is it to us to take the farmland, to take the valuable property that we have? What benefit is it for us to create electricity for downstate? And they say, well, you're going to get this amount of tax dollars. Oh, or this amount on a lease. Okay, now we're starting to deal. But if the word is not worth the paper that it's written on,
yeah,
the people in rural Michigan are going to say, stop it, forget it. We're done subsidizing downstate.
And realistically, even if a governmental entity like a rural township approves windmills coming in, that doesn't guarantee any of the property owners are going to provide the property, right?
Correct. So the local units of government, the townships, create ordinances to regulate the insertion of the windmills or the solar farms. Then from there, the companies go to the landowners and negotiate a lease. And obviously, that is an expense, right? And so then those leases are put into our rates. Well, we had to pay this amount of money for this windmill, which generates this amount of megawatts per hour, et cetera, et cetera. And then that's reflected in our electrical rates.
Yeah. And, I don't want to be misread here because I'm a capitalist at heart. I believe in the system, and I believe in stock and holding shares of a company and making as much money as possible. But when you have a multi-billion-dollar profit and you're attacking for $8.5 million, which could bankrupt school districts, I think somewhere along the line, the company has to have a conscience.
Well, and I agree with your original statement. I'm a capitalist at heart. Part of my job is to look out for my constituents in my district. And then likewise, you look at and say, how can we make living in Michigan more affordable so that we don't continue to lose population, lose congressional districts, et cetera. And as we are watching the price of energy, whether it's electrical or gas or diesel, just propane continue to skyrocket, it makes it so that it is very difficult to maintain a budget for the normal human being.
Phil, can you hang on another segment?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back. We're talking to Representative Phil Green, and we will be back.
Consider a move to Wellspring Senior Living Campus in Saginaw.
There's a huge amount of trust that's built in that process of deciding where you're going to move, when you're going to sell your house.
You do such a good job of saying, let's sit down, let's have a conversation, tell me what's happening in your life.
It's important when you walk into a place that you do the residents look happy? How were you treated when you walked through the door? I want to give the right recommendation. They've trusted me.
Schedule a tour today at wellspringlutheran.com.
Thrivent is a proud sponsor of the Valley Lutheran Christmas on WSGW. Thrivent believes money is a tool, not a goal. The Hessler Shaver Group with Thrivent can work with you to create a financial strategy that reflects your priorities and helps you protect the things that matter to you, like family and giving back. The Hessler Shaver Group can be reached at 989-791-3955. That's 989-791-3955. Call the Hessler Shaver.
Welcome to retirement. Now, replace your paycheck. To local financial coach Kevin Ray, this is what retirement planning is all about.
Building monthly paychecks. And how you build those monthly paychecks is going to determine how well in retirement you're going to enjoy it. So sit down and build a good framework, and it starts with income.
So build your framework with Kevin and the team at Insight Folios today by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it does make with Pioneer Sugar. Whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners, it's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
How did hiring the right person become so difficult? Well, it doesn't have to be. Alpha Digital already has targeted databases built to very qualified candidates that are just looking for the right opportunity. That allows you to target exactly who you're trying to reach with a budget that is customized just for you. By going to alphamediadigital.com today. Find your next star employee with alphamediadigital.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Our 12 deals of Christmas are going on right now at RocketGrabPlus.com. This deal is for Style Encore. You are going to get a $40 gift certificate for only $20. Style Encore buys and sells gently used women's casual and business clothing, shoes, handbags, and accessories. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
All right, Lewis here for Thalen Subaru on North Euclid Avenue in Bay City. Thalen is a proud participant in Subaru's Share the Love campaign. And during the Share the Love campaign, Subaru will donate $300 for every new Subaru sold to one of 4 national charities or Thalen's local charity, the Good Samaritan Rescue Mission in Bay City. You get the Subaru of your dreams and you help a local charity at the same time. And one Subaru you might choose is the 8-passenger Subaru Ascent, their biggest vehicle, like the one I'm driving this month. It's flexible, it's capable, industry-leading safety, including enhanced eyesight driver assist technology, which is standard in the Ascent. Stop into Thalen Subaru and test drive the Subaru Ascent. Talk to a Thalen representative to see how easy it is to obtain your own Subaru. Thalen Subaru on North Euclid Avenue in Bay City. Online, thinkthalen.com. Share the love today with your new Subaru. Thalen, serving your automotive needs for over 45 years.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, Biden says, don't blame me for the border crisis. I'm only the president. When in doubt, blame the dog.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW. You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
And we are back with you on USGW, talking to State Representative Phil Green. I had a question from a former colleague, actually, wanting to know if these windmills ever pay for themselves. She had heard from some engineers that, maybe takes 20 years and sometimes never.
Well, I do not have the answer to that question with for me personally. I believe the general thought process out there is that they take about 30 years to depreciate, and by that time they're done. And then I think the payback time is close to 20 years. So there's about a 10-year span there that just looking at numbers, but I'm sure the engineers and the scientists may have a different.
Phil, let me ask, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be a change in leadership in the House and the Senate and the state. What do you expect to happen? What's it going to be like?
Well, obviously, it's very different than being in the majority. Now we'll be in the minority. In essence, with the election, the changeover resulted in the Speaker of the House changing parties, obviously. And the Speaker of the House is in charge of the whole business of the House. So the director of maintenance, the business office, the clerk, all of them work for the Speaker of the House. And so there is a huge changeover in leadership, not just who holds the gavel. And so I'm expecting a sort of a rocky start to the session as a new group of people for the first time take over, setting the calendar and setting the schedule and creating committees and referring bills to specific committees. I don't think it's going to be smooth, but that is to be expected when there's that changeover in the entirety of the House.
And what impact do you think the extension on term limits is going to have?
I think it's going to impact in many ways. Number one, we're going to have more people with more experience in the House. So one example that I tend to give is the incoming Speaker of the House for the last however many number of years, probably 20 years. The incoming Speaker has had 4 years legislative experience. The incoming majority leader in the Senate has usually 6 years in the House plus 4 years, has 10 years experience. So the leadership is the experience is going to balance out. But in that same fashion, the incoming appropriations chair in the House is going to have 4 years experience. Whereas in the Senate, the appropriations chair has about 10 years experience. So I think it's going to balance out a lot of the experience and a lot of the power. It's in some respect going to decrease the importance of the Senate because they have always been the ones with all the experience that know how to pull the levers. So it's going to restore balance to the legislative side from the Senate to the House. And I think it's going to change things a little bit, but I think more importantly, it's going to allow those individuals who have been sent to Lansing to do a job to get the experience they need to be able to do that job.
What does it mean for you? And where are you in your legislative?
So I am finishing, or I have finished my second term, so I'm going into my third term. So this would allow, instead of being able to serve 14 years total, I would be down to, I have 8 years left because I've already served 4. And so
in the House,
it creates decisions.
Yeah, in the House.
Well, you only get 12 years total.
Oh, is that right? I thought, oh, really?
Yeah, so the change of term limit.
House, you can't come out of the House after 12 years and then run for the Senate?
Correct.
Oh.
That seems correct. So what it did was it used to be you had a total of 6 years in the House and 8 years in the Senate, which was 14 years. And they said, look, we don't care where you spend your time. You get 12 years total.
Aha.
So
very interesting. Very interesting. Well, listen, we're going to have to keep in touch with you and see how things go in Lansing. And also, if there's a settlement on this tax clawback question, we'll do this again and see where it stands.
Absolutely. And it's always an honor and a privilege to be on your show with you, Art.
Love talking to you, Phil. Thanks a lot. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all of that. And we'll talk to you in the new year.
Yep. Merry Christmas and have a prosperous new year.
Same to you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
State Representative Phil Green, and we thank you for taking the time for being with us this morning. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll move into open phones for the remainder of the program right through 11:30 this morning because no guest on focus, so we will open that up for open phones too. All of that is ahead.
With the best garage doors, service and more. Call the Delta Door Doctor. He knows doors. Residential, commercial, we've got them in store. That's the Delta Door Doctor. He knows doors. We've got the selection and we've got the price. And the Delta Door team really treats you right.
the Smith family and staff at Delta family a Merry Christmas. This is the perfect season to appreciate all the good things we are graced with, and your trust in your business has truly been a blessing. Delta Door Sales has been installing garage doors and openers for 3 generations. May you be safe and secure this holiday season and enjoy your family and friends too. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Door Doctor.
For the best garage doors, service and more, call the Delta Door Doctor. Delta Door.
Delta Door, 2835 Universal Drive, Saginaw. A 401k can be an important asset for many Americans' retirements. You've made contributions to your 401k every single paycheck for years. Tune in Sundays at 8 a.m. on WSGW for your Financial Empower Hour with Jason and Carl Kreiderman from Great Lakes Investment in Midland. They will give you information like how your 401k's tax advantages and portability may enable workers to build sizable and important nest eggs. But its flexibility can also be costly. Mistakes. Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a guide that will teach you how to avoid an IRS early distribution penalty and full taxation on rollovers, the little-known weapon you can use, your most mistake-proof option, and more. Request your guide today at 989-835-7203 or visit GreatLakesInvestmentAdvisors.com. This commercial shall in no way be construed as solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor in the state of Michigan.
When it comes to protecting your field from disease and environmental stress, there's Revitec fungicide, and there's everything else. When it comes to unparalleled power, there's Revitec, and everything else. And when it comes to speed and stamina, this is Revitec, and this is everything else. Nothing else comes close to Revitec. ASF. Always read and follow label directions.
Hey, did you get that proposal done?
It can wait till tomorrow.
Some things can wait.
Should we book those flights to see your folks? We can do it later.
But untreated COVID isn't one of them. If you're 50 or older or have a chronic condition, COVID can be deadly. Got COVID symptoms? Talk to a doctor and get treatment right away, because it just can't wait. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If you have certain chronic conditions, such as heart disease, asthma, diabetes, and you're 19 years of age or older, 52, 36, 32, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'm going to ask my doctor about getting vaccinated.
With Prevnar 20.
You have the chance. Or rent paid for in 2023 up to $18,000. It's the WSGW Home for the Holidays contest presented by Dow Credit Union. Enter online at WSGW.com. Look for the Home for the Holidays box. You can enter once per day with bonus entries too. Entry deadline December 21st. Home for the Holidays. Present. Enter online, WSGW.com. The Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines.
The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. Jake Moody gives the Wolverines the lead. JJ's got the snap. He's got a hole, spins to the goal line. Is he in? Touchdown. Off to Donovan Edwards, and he's in the clear, John. They will not catch Donovan Edwards. Yes. Turkana fires, and it is intercepted. It's Will Johnson, the freshman, again.
The Michigan Wolverines continue their magical season on December 31st when they face TCU in the national championship semifinal at the Fiesta Bowl. Coverage begins 3 p.m. with kickoff at 4 on 790 News Radio WSGW. Michigan Championship Football is brought to you by Lingle Equipment Company, Schaefer and Beerline, Ram Truck and Frankenmuth, Zimomatic Irrigation Solutions, North Bloomfield Properties, and Wolf Files, Ace Hardware in Saginaw. It's Michigan against TCU live December 31st at 3 p.m. on 790 News W.
Your home for Michigan Wolverines football is WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. A few minutes left in this hour before we move into our next hour with open phones for the entire hour. Not a good day for Donald Trump yesterday with the January 6th committee referring charges to the Justice Department relative to January 6th and other matters. The only good news for Donald Trump is that nothing can come of what the committee did unless the Justice Department decides to do something, because the committee has no power to charge. They can refer, which is what they did. The Justice Department now will have to take a look at all the evidence presented and decide whether or not, in an unprecedented fashion, to go after a former president for a number of issues presented by the committee, referred by the committee. It's going to be interesting at this particular time in our history as to what the Justice Department finally does, particularly with the change in the House coming about and the Republicans threatening all kinds of investigative committees in the same way the Democrats did. I wonder what action the Justice Department, if any, will take in these matters. I don't think there is a given. I don't think you can say that, oh, they're definitely going to charge the former president, or that they are not going to charge the former president. I think it's up in the air. And wouldn't you like to be a little mouse in the room listening to the debate amongst the lawyers in the Justice Department as to what to do? But anyway you look at it, it was not a very good day or week for Donald Trump on a number of fronts. Not only that, now there is a discussion in a House committee as to whether or not his taxes should be released to the public, which he steadfastly refused to do when he was president. But those tax forms have now found their way to the hands of the committee because the courts allowed them to be received. So the question now is, does the public make them public? And what impact will they have, if any? Couple that with a number of polls showing that Republicans, by a large number, are getting hesitant to support the former president and are looking for an alternative to be the standard bearer. So, as I said, not a very good week for former President Donald Trump, to say the least. All right, let us take our last break this hour, come back and close out the hour. Then we will move on to purely open phones next hour to talk about anything you want to talk about here on the Art Lewis Show.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at a place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably. Getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Retirement is more than a newly discovered free time. It's a time to reflect on how you'll be remembered and your legacy. It's important to make proper arrangements now. Tune in to WSGW every Sunday at 8 a.m. to your Financial Empower Hour with Jason and Carl Kreiderman from Great Lakes Investment Advisors in Midland. Learn how to structure your retirement savings to increase the value of your estate and help leave the legacy you want. Plus, call Great Lakes Investment Advisors today, and they will include a complimentary advisor at 989-835-7203. That's 989-835-7203. This commercial shall in no way be construed as solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor in the state of Michigan.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The holidays are here, a perfect time to save money. So why would you pay full price when you know you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? On right now from Super Cute in Freeland, The Bearded Axe, Patriot Carpet Cleaning, Applied Training Solutions, and West Side Decorating. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
The WSGW Morning Team Show. Weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, that'll do it for this first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Our thanks to Representative Phil Green for speaking with us this morning. We'll have news from CBS coming up. Michael Percha in the WSGW newsroom. And then we will be back with open phones here on WSGW. The news is next.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A major bank has been ordered to reimburse billions to customers who paid bogus fees and interest on cars and homes. Correspondent Jim Krasula has our top story.
Wells Fargo will pay nearly $4 billion in fines and after a series of scandals related to its sales practices. Federal regulators found a list of consumer financial law violations, including illegal fees and interest on auto loans and mortgages, as well as incorrectly applied overdraft fees against savings and checking accounts. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
A day after January 6th, investigators voted to recommend criminal charges against former President Trump. Another group of lawmakers will decide on whether to make his tax returns public. CBS's Robert Costa is in Washington.
The House Ways and Means Committee will meet this afternoon and decide whether to release 6 years of information on the former president's finances.
The Biden administration p.m. Eastern to respond after Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts issued a stay, allowing immigration officials to keep turning back migrants at the border. It was set to expire at midnight. Correspondent Omar Villafranca is in El Paso.
Thousands of migrants seeking asylum are overwhelming shelters. Have you ever seen it like this? No. John Martin runs an El Paso homeless shelter that is mostly filled with migrants. Capacity is 120, but to avoid the freezing temperatures earlier this week, more than 230 people packed the rooms and hallways.
We're simply running out of food.
Officials in Northern California say a 6.4 this morning has cut off power to 70,000 customers, damaged homes and roads northwest of San Francisco. Carrie Ann Bedwell, geophysicist at the U.S. Geological Survey.
Coastal cities are kind of trickling in with some people that are going to our website and reporting what they felt.
She says there are no reports of injuries, but significant aftershocks are possible. Cold and flu season are hitting hard, throw in rising cases of RSV, and it's become difficult for many parents to find over-the-counter pain relievers for their kids. Morella Ornate Aram is mom to a 9-month-old in Fort Bend, Texas.
She got hand, foot, and mouth, and we had a very difficult time finding. Went to like 8 stores. I was very surprised.
CVS is limiting purchases of children's Tylenol and similar medications to 2 products per customer. Stunned at how much it's costing to put together Christmas dinner? It's no wonder the Bureau of Labor Statistics says the price of a dozen eggs is 49% more than this time last year. Flour for cookies and pies up 25%, butter 27%. This is CBS News.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Whether you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance yours, Rocket Mortgage can help you get there. For home loan solutions that fit your life, Rocket can.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is here to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com. Like you, switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Did you know that you can save up to half on your wireless plan when you switch to Consumer Cellular? They offer unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at just $20 a month, with the same premium coverage as the nation's largest carriers. Plus, their award-winning customer support makes switching a breeze. Go to consumercellular.com/radio25. And for a limited time, get $25 off when you use promo code RADIO25.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Mostly cloudy skies and 27 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. Fire officials in Bay City are investigating the cause of a fire that occurred in a high-rise apartment Sunday. Fire crews were dispatched to the 9th floor of the Pine Towers building at 306 South Walnut Street around 6:05 a.m. A female resident of the apartment suffered burns, while a resident in another apartment suffered smoke inhalation. They were taken to a local hospital, though the burn victim was later transferred to Hurley Medical. The fire was put out quickly. Monitor and Bangor Township Fire Departments assisted at the scene. Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $1,000 for information leading to the arrest of a man who has violated probation. Police in Genesee County say 39-year-old Bay Gerd was convicted on charges of delivery of a controlled substance, felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition, and dangerous drugs. A warrant for his arrest has been issued. Gerd is black, 5'9" and 180 pounds. Police say he may be armed. Anyone with information on Gerd's whereabouts is asked to call 1-800-422-JAIL or leave a tip. Saginaw residents will soon have a new place to buy groceries. The USDA is providing the Saginaw Community Foundation a grant of more than $280,000 to start the Saginaw Community Food Club and Kitchen, a nonprofit store and community kitchen which will help alleviate Saginaw's food desert. The grant comes from the National Institute of Food and Agriculture's Community Food Projects Competitive Grant Program. In addition to providing healthy food choices to the area, the kitchen will help support food-related businesses and hold nutrition programs. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
Thinking about some new outdoor furniture for this coming spring? And save during our annual end-of-the-year floor model sale now through December 23rd at Maple Hill Nursery and Garden Center in Midland. Right now, you can save 20% on select Pollywood and Alfresco Home floor model display sets in our store. New floor models are coming in soon, and we need to make some room. Choose from both dining and deep seating sets in many styles. Buy any Adirondack chair and get a free side table to go with it. Free winter storage and delivery on any item purchased during this sale until April 1st. Hurry in for best selection as sale ends December 22nd. Maple Hill Nursery and Garden Center, located 1.5 miles north of the Midland Mall on Eastman Road next. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. Visit us on the web at www.maplehillmidland.com or like us on Facebook.
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. Due to a change in policy at the Michigan Department of Corrections, state lawmakers will have less access to Michigan prisons starting at the end of the year. When the policy goes into effect December 27th, lawmakers will be required to give 72-hour advance notice and get permission from a warden before they can enter a Michigan department. At least one lawmaker is not happy with the change. Third-term Senator Ed McBroom, who chairs the Senate Oversight Committee, calls the change detrimental, saying oversight is critical. However, Chris Gouts, spokesperson for the Corrections Department, calls it a safety and scheduling issue. The holiday season may be a tough time for teenagers with all of the family gatherings taking place, maybe for the first time since the pandemic. Rick Burt is the president and CEO of Students Against Destructive Decisions and says they've created a new resource based on input from teenagers across the United States.
I've heard again and again that the holidays are bright as they used to be. We've talked about that quite a bit. But moreover, we've heard that, there are young people that are struggling every day with their mental health, with anxiety, with depression. Just as we've talked about, and we've seen in recent news articles that there was a learning gap because of COVID-19, we're discovering too that there's a social and emotional gap that develops.
The free resource is called Pumpkin Spice and a Bit of Advice and can be found at sadd.org. State Representative Graham Filler's fight on evictions continues as he vowed this week to carry on with his plans on ending the temporary rules placed on evictions. Filler argues the temporary rules put into place through the pandemic created chaos in Michigan courts and resulted in unequal and inconsistent justice. He's introduced a bill into the House early last month to restore and balance the rights of property owners and tenants by ending the temporary rules. This comes at a time when the State Court Administrative Office seeks to make the rules permanent. WSGW News Time 1010. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. We'll see cloudy skies here for today with a high into the mid-30s. Winds out of the southwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tonight, the low around 20. Wednesday, partial sunshine develops high around 28 degrees. Then for your day on Thursday, a chance for rain and snow mixing here late. Cloudy skies and a high around 38. Friday looks like a chance for snow and freezing rain mixing early, then becoming all snow showers with cloudy skies, high of 31 degrees. Saturday, a chance for snow, areas of blowing snow likely, high of 20. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 26.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. To around the world, the Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Welcome to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. From my Second on Spirit Home studio, the show sponsored by Westside Decorating Center in Saginaw. Stop in at 4789 State Street to see their newly expanded showroom with everything needed for home decorating. And I mean everything. It's our favorite place to shop. I hope it will be yours too. All right. Open phones from now till 11:30 this morning, or just before 11:30 this morning. A number of things to talk about, but whatever's on your mind, we'd love to chat with you too. One of the things, once again, the border is in the news. As you know, Title 42 was scheduled to come to an end. That is the Trump-era policy that sent migrants back across the border to wait in Mexico for immigration opportunities for asylum, and lower courts struck it down, but Chief Justice John Roberts on Monday temporarily blocked the Biden administration from ending Title 42 from the pandemic era, and it will temporarily at least halt Title 42, which will allow officials to expel migrants, and they do it over public health concerns. But this is not the final ruling. This is just a stay, if you will, of ending the policy. And as you've seen in the news recently, there has been a huge influx of migrants across the border, and it was expected to grow astronomically if Title 42 went away. We'll see what happens now in the full court. But for now, anyway, there is a stay on Title 42. Let's go to the phones to talk to Susan. Susan is in Bay City. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning, Art. And I'm taking up on where you said yesterday was not a good day for Donald Trump. And, you know, last week or so, maybe it's a little longer than that, Donald Trump was on, I think it was Newsmax, and he was giving his on there. And he was saying that his first order of business was going to be totally overhauling the government, especially the FBI, the Department of Justice, and he named right down the line. And I thought at that time, of course, that's the only place I've seen it, and I only seen it on there once. But I thought right then and there, you know, boy, they're going to come after him with a double-barrel shotgun, as like they've never given up on him anyway. But during the Obama and the Clinton administration, when they weaponized these departments, they've been using them to terrorize anyone, one that doesn't align with their ideas. And that's totally unconstitutional. And there has never been a time in our life where we have such an imbalance in justice. Like the January 6th committee. It's nothing but a kangaroo court. If you put a panel of peers that all believe or just want to hang one person, believe you me, they're going to do it, or they're going to find a way.
I agree with you on that. I fully agree with you on that. Let me ask you a question, Susan. And I want you to think about this and give me a serious answer, not a wish answer, but a serious answer. Do you think Donald Trump is electable anymore? I know what you want. I'm not asking what you want. I'm asking for reality. Do you think he's electable?
Well, yes, and I'll tell you why. Because his rallies, because the number of people that voted for him, it's just since the beginning of his 2016 and with them coming after him, I think the people that really love Donald Trump and really believe in all the things that he accomplished, he was the first president that he came in and did what he said he was going to do.
Yep, I won't disagree with you there. Now, but let me ask you this, because and the reason I ask that is poll after poll, and I know you take polls with a grain of salt. You take them with a grain of salt, but when they're all saying the same thing, you have to at least take a look. And and all the ones I've seen say by a large percentage right now that a lot of supporters of Donald Trump don't want him to run again. And they're looking for somebody else who will continue his policies, which I find interesting. But they are looking for someone else to come forward to do the same thing he did, but without the acrimony, without his mouth, so to speak.
But then on the other hand, when it was being run up the flagpole about Governor DeSantis stepping in those shoes, then you've seen them also come after him, where the press all of a sudden was, basically.
Well, that's going to happen.
Villainizing all the good he has been doing.
That's going to happen, Susan. However, what's different?
Oh, absolutely.
What's different about DeSantis? Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me.
No, go ahead.
My opinion, though, is people have to take their blinders off. And when somebody, the more they come after him, the more I know they're afraid of him, and the more I know that he's going to turn this mess around that we're in, this inflation, these borders, everything that the terrible, our country has went to heck in a handbasket ever since Biden has taken over. It's just, something has to give, and we can't get a puppet in there like where somebody is pulling the strings.
Well,
with their agenda.
Time will tell.
Which isn't our agenda.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be an easy path for him, because there's going to be a lot of people come out of the woodwork to run in the Republican primary, and I have a feeling Biden's going to face the same thing in the Democratic primary. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can come forth. Now, also understand this, that if any of the charges brought forth by the committee are upheld by the Justice Department and they move forward with indictments, if there's a conviction, Trump is eliminated from running for president by Constitution.
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
And exactly. Oh, I know that. I'm just reminding you that's what may happen.
But I'm telling you.
But however, remember this. It's one thing for them to bring the indictment. It's another thing for them to prove the charge.
They haven't had anything stick since from the Russian.
That's why
everything that they've thrown at him, nothing has stuck because that it's totally made up. It's totally something they have fabricated, have kept in the news. And I'll tell you something.
Well, not all of it, but because his mouth is his worst enemy, and you have to agree with that. I mean, his mouth is his worst enemy. However, let me end with this because I got to take a break here. And I lost my train of thought. Duh. All right, never mind. Forget it.
Well, you ended it well. I think that the thing of it is if we need change, we want Donald Trump, and we want things to go back. Yeah. We had a good America. Make America great again. That's all right. His policy.
Good enough, Susan. Thanks. Bye bye now. We'll take a break. Come back. Mark, hang on. You'll be next.
Steve, were you at Pain? What now?
Well, winter is right around the corner.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And they'll be spreading road salt, which is going to make your car rust.
Yeah.
Well, I took your car to paintball to get it rust-proofed, so it won't rust.
Paintball does rust-proofing? I thought they were just a body shop.
No, they do all kinds of car stuff, even detailing to clean up the chili I spilled.
What?
Gotta go.
Protect your car with rust-proofing and undercoating from Paintball on Bay Road in Saginaw. We're more than a body shop. Visit paintballrepair.com.
Hi, I'm Anthony Imparato, president of Henry Repeating Arms. Patriotic Americans are looking to protect and provide for their families, now more than ever. For your home, there is a Henry that is right for you. We have over 200 Henry rifles and shotguns to choose from in a variety of calibers and finishes, all backed by our lifetime guarantee and my personal guarantee for your 100% satisfaction. You have my word that Henry Repeating Arms are made in America, always will be, or they won't be made at all. I invite you to visit henryusa.com to order a free catalog, decals, and a list of Henry dealers in your area. That's henryusa.com or call 1-800-849-93. Thank you, and God bless America.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
You hear the phrase a lot this time of year, happy holidays. But holidays are not always happy, particularly for guys grappling with a divorce that they didn't choose. These men need more than the help of a good lawyer. They need the hope and encouragement of a good friend.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks opened lower and turned mixed. The Bank of Japan will allow its benchmark interest rate to rise. Higher interest rates are having an impact on home building. Building permits for new construction declined 11.2% in November. Housing starts, in other words, groundbreakings for new construction, declined 0.5%. General Mills' profit rose in it. Business was stronger than expected. It's raising its forecast for next year, though it expects inflation, supply chain issues, and an economic slowdown to have an impact. Wells Fargo will pay billions to resolve allegations against the bank. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has ordered Wells Fargo to pay $3.7 billion because of widespread mismanagement of auto loans, mortgages, and deposits. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
We conquer cancer. For the mom-to-be who is out of treatment options. For the doctor who has a brilliant idea but needs research funding. For the people who faced cancer head-on and climbed incredible heights while they were with us. For the children who celebrate the end of chemo. We conquer cancer for all who have been touched by it. Conquer Cancer accelerates breakthroughs in research and care for every cancer, every patient, everywhere. Join us at conquer.org.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Do you know a special woman who deserves nothing but the best for the holidays? This Christmas, spoil her with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas. The next best thing to wearing nothing at all. Naturally nude pajamas, exclusively at Pajamagram, are smooth to the touch, light as air, truly seductive. Order today and Pajamagram will include a free matching naturally nude nightie. That's a $75 saving on a best-selling holiday gift. Yes, ordering today gets you a free $75. Definitely an effortless way to let her know how much you care. Now you can give her 2 sensuous gifts that she'll love to relax in. But hurry. Year after year, naturally nude pajamas sell out. So here's what you need to do. Head to pajamagram.com or text the word gift to 41234. That's gift 34. Order today, ships tomorrow.
The WSGW Morning Team.
WSGW online poll: speed excessively and lose your vehicle. The country of Austria recently passed a new law allowing police to ultimately take away your vehicle permanently for excessive speeding. Now, you might first lose a vehicle for a couple of weeks, but repeat offenders or anyone driving 50 miles per hour over a limit in town or 55 miles per hour over a limit elsewhere could face permanent loss of a vehicle. So in the U.S., that might be roughly clocked at 75 miles per hour in town and 130. Austria's transport minister says he who has no vehicle anymore cannot speed anymore. Poll question for you. Would you support a law allowing a person to lose their vehicle permanently for excessive speeding? Yes, no, or I'm not sure. Head to WSGW.com, scroll down the homepage, look for the online poll box, and make your vote that way.
Your Morning Team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, Biden says, "Don't blame me for the border crisis. I'm only the president. When in doubt, blame the dog."
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News W.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and let's go back to our phones. We have Mark, I think, is with us next. And let me see. Mark is in Midland. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
All right.
Hey, I got one topic, 2 questions.
Okay.
On the border, Title 42 is going to be, it's temporarily suspended, but you got a bunch of people on the border. And also they're looking to pass $1 trillion bill. And in that bill, it was chattered and talked about that they're going to have vision, dental, medical, and housing for the immigrants that are coming across the border. Would it behoove me to cancel my insurance and go down to the border for insurance? Because I pay $700 almost a month just to carry health insurance, and then a $750 deductible on top of that.
Yeah, see, in order to do that, you'd have to illegally cross the river into Mexico before you could come back into the United States illegally.
Well, I could take a one-way flight. My next concern is with all the illegals coming across the border, I see that in Midland, there's 2 hotels that are at the split there. It used to be a Days Inn and a Best Western that are sitting empty now and vacant. Do you see them government commandeering that and putting illegals as far as for housing into those type of facilities?
No, I don't think so. I think
they're going to house all these individuals.
Well, that's, they're going to, the states that have been busing them out have been busing them to big cities to make a point. They've been busing them to blue cities to make a point. New York, Philadelphia, out west. They're not going to send them to Midland. Now, somebody in, some organization or someone could prompt it, but who knows? I mean,
Well, because they did that a couple years ago under Obama in Bay City. They housed some children that came up through the border.
Yeah.
So I just wondered if that was going to continue again on this program.
Listen, anything's possible, but I haven't heard anything about that. Nothing at all.
All right, fair enough. Well, have a great.
You too.
Have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye now. And let's talk to Rachel, who is in Bay City. Rachel, good morning to you. Morning, Rach. No, Rachel disappeared. All right. Sorry. Call back, Rachel. Love to talk to you. Yep. So anyway, paused. The Chief Justice paused the lifting of Title 42. So that the policy stays in place for now, but the court will take up the whole issue. It will be thoroughly looked at. So far, it's estimated it's been used to expel more than 2.4 million since its implementation in 2020. And if it goes away, I mean, if Title 42 is eliminated, the civ at our southern border will just become bigger and bigger. The shame of it is that these people coming north, I mean, there's a couple of parts of this that really bug me a little bit. On the one hand, these people coming north are really trying to escape a very unsafe lifestyle in their home countries. And I understand that. What I don't understand is Mexico, with some of the toughest immigration laws in the world, is letting them pass right through. I'm aghast. I don't understand it. And they've been doing it for a long time. And there does not, at this point in time anyway, seem to be a lot of cooperation between the Biden administration and the Mexican government. So who knows what's going to happen. In the meantime, you can count on the fact that thousands and thousands of migrants are going to continue to cross the border unimpeded. And if Title 42 does eventually go away, that number will simply increase dramatically. You can count on it. Absolutely count on it. On the good news department, let's talk about something good news for Michigan. You have heard of Carhartt, the great work clothing manufacturer, worn by every construction worker, anybody who works outside. Carhartt makes some very fine clothing, particularly for work. Well, the company, which is based in Dearborn, has decided to hire up to 125 more workers in their Dearborn facility rather than move to Kentucky or Mexico. They have facilities in Kentucky or Mexico, but they received a state grant of $937,500. It's a performance-based grant from the Michigan Development Program. This will help Carhartt with a $4.65 million capital investment in its Dearborn campus and add 125 more workers. And by the way, if you think these are low-paying jobs, they're not. Their average hourly wage is $43 an hour. Now, in order for them to get the grant, to get the full grant, they must create all 125 jobs. I doubt very much if that'll be a problem for them. They have 644 people in Michigan employed now, more than 5,500 worldwide. They're a $1.1 billion company. And if they say they need 125 workers, I'll bet you they hire $125 workers. And at $43 an hour hourly wage, I don't think they'll have any trouble finding those workers. It'll be fun to watch that. And maybe, just maybe, it'll be incentive for other companies to do the same thing if it works out for Carhartt. Because if it works out for Carhartt, it works out for Michigan. 125 jobs averaging $43 an hour is good for them and good for the state. Keep our eye on it. Lines open. Give us a call. Whatever you'd like to chat about, 989-752-6111, toll free 866-790-WSGW.
Bonnie Sewing Center is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get the very best prices on everything. Janome, Baby Lock, Husqvarna Viking, and Bernina. This includes top-of-the-line embroidery machines, sergers, long arms, and more. With every purchase, Bonnie Sewing Center is committed to offering you our award-winning customer service that includes unlimited free one-on-one lessons. Come sit and sew with us all. We have staff on hand to help you. Bonnie Sewing Center on Wilder Road in Bay City, your one-stop sewing shop for over 38 years.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle and filling your sleigh with $100,000. Come out for reindeer games every Friday in December from 6 to 10 p.m. Each hour, 2 players have the chance to pick a lucky reindeer and win up to $100,000 cash. Don't miss your chance at huge holiday winnings. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
A 401k can be an important retirement. You've made contributions to your 401k every single paycheck for years. Tune in Sundays at 8 a.m. on WSGW for your Financial Empower Hour with Jason and Carl Kreiderman from Great Lakes Investment in Midland. They will give you information like how your 401k's tax advantages and portability may enable workers to build sizable and important nest eggs. But its flexibility can also be costly if you aren't aware of potential mistakes. Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a guide that will teach you how to avoid an IRS early distribution penalty and full taxation on rollovers, the little-known weapon you can use, your most mistake-proof option, and more. Request your guide today at 989-835-7 or visit GreatLakesInvestmentAdvisors.com. This commercial shall in no way be construed as solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor in the state of Michigan.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax was stopped, the threats were stopped. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This Thursday, December 15th, GW, the Sharing Hope Radiothon Day to benefit the Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan, presented by Bronner's Christmas Wonderland, presented by Fisher Contracting, presented by TriStar Trust, digital presentation from Dick Williams Gun Shop, and a whole host of other businesses. Most importantly, you, our loyal listeners. We had a goal of $50,000. As we're approaching 6 o'clock, Bill Hobson, who advocates and coordinates the Radiothon. What do you have?
$58,067.
Wow.
So I've to celebrate, Charlie, we have a little song. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself this weekend on the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturday mornings at 9 on WSGW.
Broadcasting from the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios. This is WSGW.
All right, back with you on the Art Lewis Show. Open phones, lines are open for you. And I want to clarify something that was said yesterday. We had a caller yesterday who had heard a news story about Tom Cruise bailing out of a helicopter in a free fall. And after he had thanked everybody for going to Top Gun Maverick and all of that stuff. And he thought he heard Denise say 100 miles above the earth. Well, I have clarified it. Now, I did not see Denise's story or hear what she said, but I know where the 100 came from. He fell to earth in free fall at over 100 miles per hour. And I'm not sure how Denise said it or what he heard, but that's where the 100 came from. It wasn't 100 miles above the earth. You don't free fall from 100 miles above the earth, obviously. First of all, your parachute would do you no good. The atmosphere is too thin. Secondly, if you're free falling from a helicopter at pretty good elevation, as high as the helicopter will go anyway, you could hit speeds of over 100 miles an hour. And that's what the story was talking about, the fact that he fell to earth at over 100 miles an hour. So I hope that clarifies the 100 question. He jumped out of it to give a thanks to his fans ahead of Top Gun Maverick being released on Paramount Plus on TV. It was a $1.5 billion successful film worldwide as he reprised his role as Maverick. This time, though, and I have not seen the film, I've only read about it, but this time he comes back as a trainer to train Top Gun pilots. So I'll have to somehow watch this film and see, but did $1.5 billion worldwide, and now goes to Paramount Plus streaming service. And that brings up a question. There are streaming services galore out there. They all have a plus sign after them because, that's just the way it is. Have you Or will you shed, let's say, cable service in lieu of the streaming services? Could you put together a string of these streaming services at less cost than what you pay for your cable and end up with all of the channels you watch? In some cases, yes. Some cases, probably no. And it depends how much you want to pay for ad-free services. You know, for example, Disney, you can get Disney at one price with advertising, and you can get another price with no advertising. And it's substantially more because you're paying for the lack of advertising. But there are a whole bunch of services out there. I mean, from Netflix to Hulu, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, and a whole raster of them that I'm not even thinking of. Sports, many, many others. Would you replace your cable box for these streaming services? Mark is in Bay City, so let us say good morning to Mark in Bay City.
Well, good morning, Mr. Lewis, and Merry Christmas to you and your WSGW family.
Same to you. Thank you.
Everybody has a good one.
Thank
you. Anyway, a little sidebar on that immigration issue there and the illegal immigrants and all that is one bright spot that I see is the birth rate in America is at 1.6. If they continue these social programs the way they're going, there's going to be an issue with funding them. These people will come in and work. They will work, bringing lettuce to Kroger's and Myers. They will do dishes. They will work in kitchens. They will work and maybe get Social Security. Not Social Security, they'll pay taxes. And that is a win-win-win for everybody.
Well, the question is, how many of them can you support that way? Because you have to remember, prior to this great influx over the last several years, we've always had migrant workers.
Exactly.
And just how many jobs are there out there for these folks?
They make this immigration program harder than it needs to be. These immigrants know more about, after they go through their indoctrination citizen, they know more about American history than the kids in high school today.
Yeah, that may be true. Here's the thing, though, Mark. In some ways, you're very right that they need to modernize the immigration program. How do you get that message through to Congress and the administrations? Because time after time after time, it's been kicked down the road by Congress after Congress after Congress, by president after president. And even Donald Trump, even though he tried to stop the influx, he did little to modernize the immigration system and to make more available to asylum seekers the ability to come into the country. We're a country built by immigrants. We all know that. Every one of us, except for Native Americans, every one of us, has immigrant past. And wouldn't be here if it weren't for that. A lot of the things this country has wouldn't happen if it weren't for immigrants. But there has to be a limit. If you do not have a border, you do not have a country. So what's the limit?
As long as there's a sign out there that says now hiring, I think there isn't an issue. These people will come in and they will work with the proper training and the proper care and everything. They will work. They'll contribute. We make that immigration problem or that process so hard and so long, so expensive.
Well, I think, that's the other side of that. The other side of that coin is you're making sure you get the right people.
Well, no, I disagree there. I think anybody that's going to work in the field or in the kitchen or do some menial tasks, it could not be called the right people.
Well, no.
If you make it easier, you will.
That's not what I mean.
Document. You can document.
Yeah. But you have to make sure that you're not getting all the bad apples. That countries aren't just flooding you with their bad apples, not their good apples. You know what I mean? I mean, there has to be a process. There has to be a process to qualify someone. And otherwise, you don't have a border. And if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. If you just say, come on in, and nobody there to stop you, and it's not practical. There has to be some kind of restraint on who you allow in.
There's 60 countries in the world right now. I think they have a border, a fence. Russia has one with Finland. There's border fences all over the world between countries.
Yeah.
I think Mexico has one on their southern border.
Well, it doesn't seem to work very well.
Well, no, they'll let in. They'll let in because I don't understand how these people can migrate from Nicaragua.
Exactly, because Mexico has the toughest immigration laws in the world. Some of the toughest immigration.
But somebody has to feed them. You can't go a month of migrating without food and maybe health care, maybe something's going on. I wouldn't doubt if there's something under the table there to finance it.
Yeah, I don't know. Mark, I got to go because I'm late for a break here, but I appreciate the call. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye now. This day and age, we're asked to do more for less. So when we spend approximately a third of our life in bed, we really need quality sleep. And you can get that sleep on a mattress from Sanitary Mattress. They've been making custom mattresses since 1935. Rest assured, the Sanitary mattress you're sleeping on was made right here in the Great Lakes Bay region and done to your specifications. Further, the money you spend stays right here in the local community from Sanitary Mattress. In addition, Sanitary Mattress offers 1-hour delivery window of your mattress to your home so you don't have to wait around all day. Sanitary Mattress can also make a custom mattress for your RV or a boat. That's something the box stores can't do. Next time you need a mattress, think of Sanitary Mattress. Put them in your GPS at 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, or call them at 989-753-1757. Check them on the web at sanitarymattress.com. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sanitary Mattress Company, where you'll find everything from a crib to a king and anything in between.
Forests are important to the health of our environment, which is why Charmin is committed to helping keep forests as forests for generations to come. At Charmin, we make paper, but we love trees. That's why we protect forests by using pulp certified by the Forest Stewardship Council, regrowing at least 2 trees for every tree we use. And when forests are devastated by natural disasters, helping restore trees through the Arbor Day Foundation. So you can enjoy the go, but forests remain forests.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Our 12 deals of Christmas are going on right now at RocketGrabPlus.com. Style Encore. You are going to get a $40 gift certificate for only $20. Style Encore buys and sells gently used women's casual and business clothing, shoes, handbags, and accessories. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers. so you learn how to have real world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my outdoor magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 700.5 FM.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW for this Tuesday morning. Tim is in Bay City. Tim, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
Good. I listen to your show all the time. I really enjoy it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I was just listening to this. I just caught the beginning of your last caller's discussion. So when he was talking, he triggered a thought that I've actually had for quite a while. And I want to start out with an assumption, in fact, assumption or not, but and maybe you could give me your opinion on that before I get into my main thought here. But I assume that by far greater majority of people coming across the border in the South, when they get here and they go to work, that they don't pay Social Security tax. Would you say that's a fair assumption?
I would assume the same thing, but I'm not, if they don't have a green card and they don't have, if they're not registered, if they're working as illegal aliens not registered, then that's a fair assumption.
Right. I mean, I've heard stories about workers that go and they congregate on a corner and they wait for, the construction truck or whomever to show up, and they offer them, so many dollars an hour for the day or for the week. And that's how they support themselves. So, if that's true, I mean, if most of them don't pay Social Security, and I think it probably is, I would think that if migrants could come in and pay Social Security for, say, 10 years, get on the books with the federal government, and pay Social Security for 10 years, keep their noses clean for 10 years, I'm not talking about traffic, no crimes, nothing that would put them in jail or anything like that. Let them in. Let them kick into the Social Security system.
Here's the thing, and I don't disagree with that, because I do think that once they're in this country, there should be a path to being a contributing citizen, if you will. However, I want to see it done in some kind of organized fashion where we know who these folks are.
Oh, sure.
We don't have that now. When thousands of people cross the river, who do we don't know anything about them.
Yeah,
but in terms of a system that allows for immigration, that allows for people to come into the country and be productive citizens, we've always had it. The question is, does it need to be expanded?
Well, I would say maybe I would say it does. I would say it definitely needs to be expanded. But, and I was thinking, the reason I hesitated there for a second, because I'm thinking about the workforce,
Right.
I mean, everywhere I go, to get a hamburger, or if I want to buy a gallon of paint somewhere, I have to deal with people that, if it weren't for this labor shortage, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but if it weren't for this labor shortage, I think a lot of them wouldn't be able to get a job. And in the meantime, you've got all these super, super highly motivated people.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just want it done in an organized way, and we don't have that. And with that, I'm out of time for this hour. I got to run. But we'll talk more about it. Tim, I appreciate your call and your thoughts. Thank you. Have a good one.
You bet.
Bye-bye now. We'll be back to close out this hour.
There's probably no one that has ever said, I wish I wouldn't have started hospice this spring office, and you say, hey, I want to talk to someone about this because I don't even know if this is something for us or not, and they will talk to you, because the biggest thing that they will be is honest. They gave us a booklet that talked about the stages. The kid who I least thought would read the booklet read it and was like, what's going to happen whenever that is.
For more information on hospice, visit wellspringlutheran.com.
I think farming picked me. I didn't pick farming. I'm not afraid to try something new. It's my farm, my family, and our future. My Channel Seedsman gets that. I get access to innovative products with personalized advice backed by data. Potential. With Channel, I know I'll prosper for years to come.
Define your future at channel.com/future. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices. Copyright 2022 Bayer Group. All rights reserved.
Guys, 2022's been a roller coaster year, so spoil by giving her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas exclusively from Pajamagram. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own bare skin. Even more alluring than lingerie, the texture and touch of these pajamas is so seductive that you'll both love. You'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. Best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you with free gift packaging. Order today, and Pajamagram will also include a free matching naturally nude nightie with the purchase of naturally nude pajamas. That is free gift packaging and a free naturally nude nightie when you order today. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Art Lewis Show. We are going to continue, though, with open phones through the next half hour. Focus, we don't have a guest today, so we'll continue with open phones on a couple of more topics. Meanwhile, stick around from the news from CBS and the local report with Michael Percha, and then we will be back with more.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSG, Bolton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by General Steel.
I'm Steve Kathan. The Biden administration has just several more hours to respond to the Supreme Court's move to put a hold on the lifting of Title 42, the pandemic border policy that turns migrants away. CBS's Omar Villafranca is in the city that's now ground zero for a recent migrant surge.
The border has split. Where thousands of migrants seeking asylum are overwhelming shelters. El Pasoans are doing their best to feed, clothe, and bus hundreds of migrants every day. San Antonio and New York, like 32-year-old Yasmin Hernandez and her 7-month-old son Liam from Guatemala. They're heading to Denver once she gets enough money for a bus ticket. She wants to find an office job in Colorado and save enough money to bring the rest of her family to the U.S.
Former President Trump committee's call for charges to be considered against him as partisan and suggests the action strengthens him. CBS's Robert Costa.
There is a lot of support when I'm out there on the campaign trail covering the former president, but some of them talk about him in almost a grandfatherly way. They see him as someone who they like a lot, but they're not necessarily ready to throw all their support behind him. And remember, there are so many variables out there right now. The House Ways and Means Committee will meet this afternoon and decide whether to release 6 years of information on the former president. Development.
There's some damage reported and power outages after a 6.4 earthquake rattled Northern California. It was centered off the coast near Ferndale. Samantha Cargis at the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office.
We've gotten reports of some buildings being shaken off their foundation, major structural damages, cracks in drywall, things flying off of shelves.
Well, the pharmacy chains CVS and Walgreens are limiting purchases of children's pain and fever medicine as they face supply chain issues and high demand. Bill Thompson owns a pharmacy in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
You're looking at multiple factors here. You're just not looking at one problem with one manufacturer. We have trouble getting all kinds of products right now.
Well, CBS's Jim Crisula reports a big bank has been ordered by a federal watchdog to pay $3.7 billion in fines and refunds to customers for a variety of infractions.
Wells Fargo was caught up in a series of scandals tied through illegal fees and interest on auto loans and mortgages and incorrectly collecting overdraft fees.
Checking Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 117 points. The NASDAQ is up 16. This is CBS News.
If you're a business owner renting or leasing, you can save a ton of money and own a custom-designed building made by General Steel. Just call 888-74-STEEL and get a quote today.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we only need income. And if you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan.
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own complimentary financial review by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
Santa's sleigh is filled with cash at Sagamore Eagles Landing. On Saturday, December 3rd, 10th, and 17th, you can win up to $5,000 at drawings from 5 to 10 p.m. each week. So put a little jingle and a lot of cash in your holiday season. Don't miss Up on the Rooftop, Saturdays through December 17th, only at Sagamore Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit sagamore-eagleslanding.com for complete rules and details.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Cloudy skies and 28 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Percha. The city of Bay City is looking to fill vacancies on a number of boards and committees in the new year. The city's Board of Review has 9 open seats with terms set to expire in 2025. Applicants are also being sought for a vacancy on the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, which oversees revitalization properties, as well as for 2 empty seats on the Building Code and Fire Code Boards of Appeals. More localized management boards for Columbus Avenue and Midland Street have also have vacancies. A list of qualifications as well as applications can be found at the City Clerk's Department or at baycitymi.org. Completed applications should be sent to the city manager's office at City Hall or emailed to dmuscot@baycity.org no later than January 11th. The Saginaw Police Department is welcoming 8 new officers today. Officers Kelly McIntyre, Caleb Gallant, Tyler Suave, Asia Green, Jeffrey DeHaan, Guadalupe Oliveras, DeMarcus Baldwin, and Dwayne Jones are going to be sworn in this morning, officially joining the police force. The new officers were hired in August and recently graduated from the Delta College Police Academy. With the holidays quickly approaching, Ascension St. Mary's Hospital Center for Hope will be hosting a food giveaway Wednesday morning. The food comes from the Eastern Food Bank, thanks to charitable donations from members of the community. The Center for Hope is located at 723 Emerson Street in Saginaw. Sign-in for the event begins at 8 o'clock in the morning, with distribution running from 9 till 11:30 or until 70 families have been served. The organization says the food giveaways will continue into the new year on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of every month. WSGW News Time, 11:07.
This segment of our Community's Care is brought to you by the Saginaw Community Foundation. For the month of December, Saginaw Community Foundation proudly spotlights Barb Smith Suicide Resource and Response Network. The network is a nonprofit organization with the mission to prevent suicide and resources and to support those impacted by suicide. The network has been serving communities since 1989 and is driven by the purpose found in the pain after founder Barb Smith lost her brother John to suicide. The network's team of expert trainers facilitate awareness presentations and evidence-based prevention trainings to people where they live, work, learn, play, and pray, with the goal of destigmatizing suicide and increasing help-seeking behaviors. Join us February 11th, along with the Saginaw Spirit, as we host Talk Today, Hope for Tomorrow Mental Health Awareness Night on February 11th at the Dow. For more information, visit srrn.net or call 988-5260 to support the network's mission. Donations and sponsorships are appreciated.
WSGW News Time, 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. Stellantis and U.S. safety regulators have confirmed that an exploding Takata airbag inflator has killed another driver. The company and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reiterated warnings to owners of 274,000 older Dodge and Chrysler vehicles to stop driving them until faulty inflators are replaced. Stellantis announced the 2 deaths in November caused by the airbags and said it suspected an inflator caused them. Formerly known as Fiat Chrysler, confirmed the 3rd death early Monday. Stellantis is urging people to stop driving Dodge Magnum wagons, Dodge Challenger and Charger muscle cars, and Chrysler 300 sedans from the 2005 through 2010 model years. Since 2009, the exploding airbags have killed at least 33 people worldwide. Toyota is at the center of controversy when it comes to its electric vehicle plans. Here's Autobeat reporter Jeff Gilberts.
Toyotion is on.
Environmental groups are trying to pressure Toyota into developing more EVs with parody commercials like Toyota Yawn, criticizing gas. Toyota Vice President Jack Hollis says their hybrids are anything but gas guzzlers.
The enemy that we're fighting after is carbon emissions, and we have to have a solution for all people across not just the U.S. and North America, but globally.
And that means choice. President Akio Toyoda saying many others in the industry would like to see a more diverse approach, but they're afraid to speak out of fear of criticism. Jeff Gilbert, the Michigan News Network.
Scientists say the atmospheric carbon overload responsible for global warming might also be making large lakes more acidic. It's happening in oceans, which are taking some of the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. That imperils coral reefs and other marine life. Scientists have placed sensors on a buoy in Lake Huron to follow water chemistry trends, hoping to eventually do likewise in other Great Lakes. Studies predict the Great Lakes and other large freshwater bodies around the world will become more acidic, which could disrupt food chains and habitat, but they'll need data over multiple years to be sure. WSGW News Time, 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. We'll see cloudy skies here for today with a high into the mid-30s, winds out of the southwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then for conditions with a low around 20. Wednesday, partial sunshine develops, high around 28 degrees. Then for your day on Thursday, a chance for rain and snow mixing here late, cloudy skies and a high around 38. Friday looks like a chance for snow and freezing rain mixing early, then becoming all snow showers with cloudy skies, high of 31 degrees. Saturday, a chance for snow, areas of blowing snow likely, high of 20. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vujicic with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 28.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
Good morning and welcome to Focus here on WSGW. I'm Art Lewis, and Focus is brought to you by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at getroofmax.com. or call Ben at 989-859-6751. And do remember that RoofMax is spelled with 2 X's. Open phones, no guest on this edition of RoofMax. So we will continue with our open format. Something you want to talk about, give us a call, 989-752-6111. Pulled a story. This fascinates me. I'm kind of a car geek in that I like cars, like some of the classics, love some of the hot Italian sports cars and others from around the world. And I pulled this story because I had to go, they're doing what? There are people taking classic automobiles, some of the classics from the 60s, 70s, and what have you, and converting them to electric vehicles. Not inexpensively, but they're doing it. There was a story, in this particular story, they talk about a cargo pilot who had a 1972 Plymouth Satellite, and he paid $6,500 for the car and $60,000 to convert it to electric. He bought a wrecked Tesla and used the rear end from that car in his car. The battery technology is apparently becoming readily available. There was a story in here about somebody that took an old Mustang and for $100,000 converted it. I'm sorry. There's something about the heart-pounding sound of a piston engine that you don't get with an electric car. I know you get the speed, you get the acceleration. There's no question about that. I've driven a couple of them, and I know what it's like. Put your foot to the floor and get pinned back in the driver's seat. But I'm still just a fan of the old-fashioned. Nothing like hearing that tailpipe roar. Anyway, John is in Saginaw, and he's on the line this morning, so let us say good morning to John.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
We're doing well. Hope you are.
Very well. The question I had is that earlier this summer, you might remember somebody that stole a bunch of pop cans for the Saginaw fireworks.
Yeah.
Do you know if they ever caught him?
I do not. I hadn't heard a thing. Had not heard a thing. And I remember that. I remember that story.
Yeah, they had them all on tape and everything, and I'm just curious if they ever caught that guy.
I have no idea. I know who to ask. Can't get them right now, but I'll see if I can find out. But that's an interesting question. You know, a lot of times you don't hear these things, but typically if you don't hear of it, it means nothing happened.
Right.
So I don't know.
I missed.
Yeah, I'll have to find out. It's a good question.
I appreciate it, Art.
Yeah. Hey, John, have a Murray. Take care now.
Thank you. You too, Art. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
And that opens the lines for you, Saginaw, Bay City, and everywhere else. 989-752-6111. That's an interesting question. A lot of times we hear about these things happening, but we don't get a resolve. And you often wonder, well, what happened to that case? Was it ever solved? I don't know the answer to that. I know they were collecting a lot of cans and bottles in a couple of pickup trucks and other types of trucks over off of Davenport. And you would come and you'd throw your bags of cans into those trucks. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where they were stolen from too. But I have absolutely no idea whatever happened. That's an interesting question. I'm going to have to follow up on that and see if I can find out what the resolve was. Peggy couldn't understand. Oh, Peggy, where are you from? Good morning, Peggy.
Oh, good morning, and thanks for taking my call.
Sure. Where are you?
My question. I'm from Saginaw.
Okay, welcome then.
All right, I'm going to tell you right now, I know my question sounds crazy, But while listening to you and the other person, I got to thinking, my forefathers fled the South through underground railroads and safe houses, which got me wondering, is it possible the immigrants are coming to Mexico through underground railroads and safe houses? Or am I just way out in left field?
Too many of them for that. I have a feeling that Mexico's turning a blind eye. And there are, people that are being paid to take them through. In some ways, there is a relationship, and I understand what you are saying. And I'll tell you what, God bless your forefathers for being able to do that.
Thank you.
And but I
and your forefathers for supplying the railroad and the safe houses. They worked on both sides.
Yeah. Well, it did, and as I've said many times, this is a country built by immigrants, and we have always welcomed immigrants into this country, but there has to be a process. There has to be some kind of limit, and we've failed to come up with a system that addresses all of these issues. And someday we're going to have to. I really think we're going to have to. Okay. And and I understand why these people are leaving. These people are leaving for the same reason your forefathers came from the South, because they were oppressed.
Thank you.
And were looking for a better life, and they found it.
Thank you.
I hope you found it anyway.
Oh yes, that I have. I have.
But by the same token, and the real, the real tragedy of the story of your forefathers is they were in this country, and they were being oppressed in this country.
Right.
And these other, people are coming from outside of the United States trying to come in for that better life.
That's why I started off by saying that I might be way out in left field.
Well, no, there's...
I can see a similarity between the two.
I can too, mainly because the driving force was the oppression, whether it's in this country or from another country.
Okay.
The driving force is the oppression in their life and the safety of their families in their home countries. So I understand the similarities. I just think there has to be a more orderly process, and we don't have that.
Okay. And like everyone else, Art, I enjoyed your program. Look forward to it, and I thank you for it.
I look forward to chatting with you, so do it more often.
Okay,
and Merry Christmas.
Enjoy the holiday. I was getting ready to say the same thing. Take care now.
You too. Bye-bye now. All right, we'll take a quick break, come back with more. We have a few more minutes left on Focus.
Hi, everyone. Eric Crane here with Crane's Aluminum Appliance Center. And I'm proud to announce that both of our locations are ready for the holidays. Whether it's kitchen or laundry, any other need that you have, you'll find it here or 1556 West Carroll Road in Carroll. New, scratch and dent, and reconditioned appliances with name brands such as LG, Speed Queen, GE, and Frigidaire products. Don't forget, we stand behind everything we sell. Crane's L&M Appliance Center, locally owned and operated since 1956, is at 3260 Bay Road in Saginaw and 1556 West Carroll Road in Carroll, where we want to earn your business.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com. I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about March 20.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios of WSGW. The Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines.
The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. Jake Moody gives the Wolverines the lead. JJ's got the snap. He's got a hole, spins to the goal line. Is he in? Touchdown, Michigan. Hands it off to Donovan Everton. He's in the clear, John. They will not. Yes! O'Connell fires, and it is intercepted. It's Will Johnson, the freshman, again.
The Michigan Wolverines continue their magical season on December 31st when they face TCU in the National Championship semifinal at the Fiesta Bowl. Coverage begins 3 p.m. with kickoff at 4 on 790 News Radio WSGW. Michigan Championship football is brought to you by Legal Equipment Company, Schaefer and Beerline, Ram Truck and Frankenmuth, Zimomatic Irrigation Solutions, North Bloomfield Properties, and Wolf Files, Ace Hardware in Saginaw. It's Michigan against TCU live December 31st at 3 p.m. on 790 News Radio WSGW.
Wolverines football is WSGW. Tom Sullivan, weeknights at 7 on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you. The remaining couple of minutes left here on Focus. The story, there is a new head of CNN. You may have heard of him, Chris Licht. He has become CEO. That was done earlier this year. And he has said that he was going to move the 24-hour news operation to a more centrist position. And he has now said that he has been surprised by the, quote, uninformed vitriol, unquote, directed at him from liberals as he attempts to shift the network's editorial direction. CNN long has been thought to be to the left in the same way that Fox is thought to be to the right. And what he has said about it, quote, which proves my point, so much of what passes for news is name-calling, half-truths, and desperation. He has shaken up the lineup at the network. He's gotten rid of some folks. He's moved other folks. And he wants the network to be what he has described as more centrist. In other words, he wants the news to be the news. And I would imagine, just out of fairness, that if Murdoch and News Corp were to say that they wanted to take Fox and move it to a central position, they would hear the same response from the far right conservatives that Licht is hearing from the left. It just goes to show how far away from traditional journalism we have gotten. When one faction of a party or another can identify with a news source as being their news source, that tells you that news source is not neutral. And Licht is finding that out as he tries to move CNN to the middle. He's getting backlash from liberals who were appreciative of what the network had been saying all along, and now will not be saying it so much. It's not going to be an easy process for him, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take him a while, but he's intent on doing it, and we'll see what that does to CNN's ratings. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Focus. We'll take a break, come back, and get ready for the Farm Show.
Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler, host of the Money Pit Home Improvement Show. If you think you need a new roof,